Hey everybody, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. This is going to be a basic pistol cleaning and servicing thing, and a couple of things I want to cover on some common problems with pistols that we've seen in the past. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at this. This is my SIG 220 that I got out of Washington in 10mm. Guy traded it in and I wanted it, so I kept it. So first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun is empty, it's safe. Guns will come apart in several different configurations. On the SIG, it's a takedown lever on the side. On this particular model, everything's a little different, varying from brand to brand. So, recoil spring, you want to be careful when you remove this. It can go shooting across the room if you're not super careful, and I have done it. The barrel's going to come out in some way, shape, or form out the back. Okay, we got it broke down to its basic pieces here. I've got my cleaning stuff set up. I like the Lucas Oil CLP product in general. Cleaning brush. This is a real handy toothbrush. A couple board jags, and I got a rag. I got a cleaning rag here to wipe some of the bigger parts off. So I usually start off with a little bit of just general cleaning solvent. Hoffi's makes a good product. I like that. I like the CLP product because it's a cleaner lubrication, and if I miss some or leave it, it's okay because it's good stuff. So let me get a little on here, let this soak in a little bit on some of the followers and stuff in here. Not followers, excuse me, the block and the internals. And then I'm gonna get on to this face. So I do want to mention this is probably one of the most critical areas on these pistols. You got your ejector, and this is your extractor. This is the part that grabs onto the edge of the case and allows it to flip up and down. And I'm gonna come back and cover this on another point here in a minute, but toothbrush is really good for getting behind this and getting the bits and pieces out from underneath inside of here. You get some dirt or debris or a piece of broken brass or something inside of there, and it'll cause that thing to bind up. So, toothbrush is a really good product to get in there and do that. And then I like it because the brushes can get down the side of these channels as well and kind of get in there and clean that up. So, Trevor took this gun on trade from a guy in Washington, and he knew I was looking for one, and the price was right, so I decided to keep it. Unfortunately, it's not optic cut, and I can't cut this, so that is one of the problems on some of these older SIG guns. Again, we talked about firing pin channel. I don't have a guy that can machine this that I'm confident and make this thing work. So this is going to be an iron sight gun only. So, and I have a soft spot also for some of these SIG metal guns. They're heavy and reliable, I think is the word that. I do want to mention too, this is a hammer fired gun. On the Glock product and some of the striker fire guns, the firing pin is running inside of this channel, and there's a plastic sleeve. In the Glocks in particular, there's not a lot of room in there, so if you get a ton of lubrication in the firing pin hole and you think that's a good idea, or in the back on this thing, it will cause this thing to stop. It will build up and it will retard the firing pin from being able to function properly. So another common problem, guys will over lubricate the firing pin channel, and the Glock it'll stop working. You can put so much lubrication in it, it'll die, and that can be a problem. So bear in mind. So most of the crap out of that. On the barrel, I don't shoot a lot of lead, so I'm shooting jacketed stuff, so there's not going to be a ton of buildup inside of this. So I'm going to take just a cleaning rod and a brush, pass this through a couple times if I don't drop it. And honestly, that's about enough for me. So these bore snakes I like. They're simple and easy. You can roll them up, take them to the range. Just got a brush on it as well. Now I probably didn't need to brush that at the beginning, but I didn't know what I was dealing with on this gun, so I don't know if that shot will come out, but I could pass it through a couple more times. But the chamber is super clean. This gun hasn't seen a lot of lead or jacketing, so it's nice and bright. On older pistols and older revolvers and stuff too, you want to be cognizant, especially if you're buying used guns from people. You know, look for bulging inside of here, which can be a problem. If you get a projectile stopped here, and we had a shotgun squib a couple days ago, which you'll probably see in a video, man. It was, you get a bullet lodged, you clear the gun, you're not paying attention, you put another round in, squeeze that round off, the two bullets will slam together. Best case scenario, they both leave. Worst case scenario, the whole gun comes apart. Occasionally it'll cause a bulge inside of here, and you may not even know it, but when you're cleaning it, you'll see what's called a donut. There'll be a dark ring inside of here in a position, and what that means is it's been swollen where the two bullets impacted, and I would call that defective. It'll probably still work, but that type of shit it bugs me. It would really bother me. So this is a SIG recoil spring, and it's in purple. So SIG runs a color coding system on this. This is a braided wire spring, which it's a really good product. I'm not an engineer, but I know that when you braid these springs like this, they're really durable. Geisley uses this on some of their recoil springs. SIG has been doing this a long time. This is not new technology, by the way. I want to say this goes clear back to pre-World War II German technology. This braided wire stuff is fantastic. So. We can talk about gun scrubber while I'm doing this. Gun scrubber is a good product for shotguns, I think. I don't generally like to run it on ARs or pistols. It's an aerosol base. You spray it on and it kind of blows the particles off like a solvent. What I don't like about it is it tends to take the lubrication and the other stuff off. So for me, I don't think the trade-off for most situations, I don't think the gun scrubber for me doesn't work. I don't like the residue it leaves, and I don't like what it does to some of the finishes. So the other thing to be cognizant of as well, especially on a gun with an optic, when you're spraying and you got these chemicals floating around, you want to watch the glass. Some of that glass can be sensitive, and you can run into a situation where you've stained the glass or caused some damage to the optic. So what you're noticing right now is I'm cleaning these channels inside of here. So these are where the two pieces ride together. We could call this the male and female channel. The two are going to be riding together. So I'm making sure to get the debris out of that area as well as best I can. So I don't know if that'll come across there, but this is the locking block. So. And I'm using a microfiber towel rather than cotton or Q-tips, and we talked about this in a previous video. For the most part, this doesn't leave bits or debris, which I can't see. I'm not going to have little bits of cotton or debris stuck inside of here that will cause an accumulation point either with lubrication or dirt or debris. So I like these. I can rewash them, although I don't. So one other thing I'm going to cover, magazines. Most of the magazines in production are serviceable. So on this particular one, I don't know if I have I can pull the floor plate off of it if I don't stab my thumb, and then service the magazine. So again, I'm just making sure that it's clean, it doesn't have any debris on the inside of it. Making sure the follower is not crummy. So you get some feed issues if this gets full of crap and smoke. So this is nice and bright. There's no dirt in it. I think it's a bear, dude. That's about it. So I'm gonna put it back together. A little bit of oil in the magazine. On the slide, I run a little bit of lubrication on the top of this. That's the part that's going to ride here on the barrel. So the barrel's going to go in. spring in. Maybe a drop or two here. And again, you don't have to overdo this, I don't think. So I put a little in the channels here, a little in the channel here. I like this little needle oiler. You can do it with whatever. I mean, I could just spray this whole thing down if I wanted. And then back. Hit the lock. And away we go. There's a lot of good product out there for cleaning and lubrication. There's a lot of good tools out there. You will come up with some stuff that you like that you're going to do, or some techniques. You know, maybe you like the snakes and don't like that, which is fine. I will say if you're shooting lead in 10 millimeters in revolvers, it's important to have a brush because you're going to have to get that lead out of that barrel. You will get a buildup. You've got to scrub that out occasionally. So pistols, for the most part, aren't going fast enough to create a lot of gilding in the barrel like a rifle, where you'd have to use copper solvent. The velocity is not fast enough to leave a lot of that in the barrel in the rifling. So a brush and a snake combo, that'll get most of that out of there for the most part. So it's not a velocity issue. And that is it, just like that. Got any questions, comments, leave them below. Just basic handgun cleaning and disassembly. Guns will all be taken apart in a similar fashion for the most part. Nothing out there's under-engineered to usually require more tools. There are a couple of exceptions. The Walther 9mm CCP, which in my opinion is probably the worst gun to take apart and put back together. And maybe we'll do a supplemental video on some of the worst guns on the planet to take apart. That might be something fun to do. But any questions, comments, you know, like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think.